Hi, I'm going to be doing these mobility, dynamic stretching, range of motion activities standing, but you of course are welcome to do most of these seated. We're going to start with neck range of motion. I like to do a basic rotation side to side. If you'd like, after you've done maybe 5 or 6 of these, you can add a forward chin to chest stretch up and down. The motion of this is at an angle, almost as though I'm going to sniff my armpit, maybe. And then I like to turn and do the other side. Now, I don't prefer to do neck circles that some people like to do. If you don't have perfect posture and have maybe just a little bit of arthritis in your neck, neck circles can be painful. The next one we're doing, I'll move forward just a little bit, is a shoulder roll. So I'm going to start with my palms facing forward. This helps me hold a nice, good posture, and we're rolling the shoulders up, back, and down, almost as though the point of your shoulder is making a circle. Back and down. Now you can also go the other way, forward. You'll notice that circling forward does sort of bring you into that hunched over posture, which we're trying to avoid. So even if you do some forward, I would actually be sure to finish with those backwards shoulder rolls. The next one we're going to go right into is a shoulder elevation and depression. So what's that? Shrug those shoulders up, making that neck kind of go away, shoulders towards your ears, and press them all the way down. Nice long neck. And we're going to go up and down. Now we are working through this shoulder blade range of motion, scapular mobility in the back, working on holding your posture upright. Now, the next one is a trunk rotation. So what that means is spinal rotation. And I like to have my hands right across my shoulders for this one. What that does is it makes sure my rotation is coming just from my spine. Sometimes people like to do them with their hands up. Then we can kind of cheat by just moving those arms across. And for this one, we do want to make sure we are rotating through the spine. This one does take a little bit of warming up in order to get that stretch. So you might not go as far on the first few rotations as you will once you're a little bit more warmed up. Now you might feel some hopping, creaking, and cracking. That's totally normal. As long as this isn't painful, you can keep going, maybe about 10 times each side. This one always feels really good. And spinal rotation is actually good for digestion as well. The next one we're going to do is active range of motion for those shoulders. Now we did the shoulder rolls and the shoulder elevation and depression. Now we're doing actual full range of motion through your shoulder joint. I like to do this at an angle. We call this a Y raise. And you're going within your comfortable range of motion. Now I know a lot of times people are limited. Maybe they can only comfortably come to here before they start to arch around their back. So you go within your comfortable, healthy range of motion. And as you get warmed up, they might go a little bit higher, up and down. If you'd like, you can hold up and do a couple pulses towards the back. You might feel a little stretch under here as you raise, and that's fine. We're just going up and down with that one. Shoulder range of motion, Y raise. The next one we're going to do is a row. Again, this is an active range of motion, but working on that scapular retraction. So I like to hold my hands out and you're squeezing those elbows back. So with this, you might get a little chest stretch in the front as you squeeze back. You're also activating those postural muscles. Really important to have strength and endurance in our postural muscles, holding us upright. Make sure your neck and head posture is good. You can focus now, starting to draw in the belly just a little bit, engaging the core. Again, since we're doing this standing, this is actually helping our hip range of motion as well, because we're not sitting. So it's opening those hip flexors up. Good. Now, you do have the option to open those this way. So again, same kind of move. Instead of a row, now we are doing a rotation here, in and out. Same thing. You're going to feel a little bit of a stretch in the front of the chest and shoulders, activating those back muscles. It's just a little bit different, but we can do a handful of them this way as well. Still working on postural strength and stability, as well as range of motion, a little bit of dynamic stretching here. Okay, perfect. So that covered a lot of postural, active range of motion, dynamic stretching activities. We didn't hold any of the movements for a prolonged period of time. We did repetitive motion with the goal to increase our range of motion comfortably with each repetition. Now, this last move is a little bit more of a dynamic activity with a stretch hold. This is your bonus move. It is one of my favorite things that I do every single day. Now, it's simple, but it's really effective. What you need is a wall. If you need something to help you for balance and stability, maybe you need another wall, a countertop, a chair back, anything. Our goal is we're going to start by pushing the heel into that wall, and then our other foot steps forward like we're in a lunging position. Now, it's very subtle, but you want to push your heel into this wall as though you are trying to push the wall away with just your heel. What that's going to do is activate the glute muscles. You're also going to feel the quad working a little bit. You're going to feel your toes pushing into the floor, your heel pushing into the wall. And as we activate this glute on the backside, it's going to cue the hip flexor to relax and stretch a little bit. As we do that, we can start to shift our body forward more and more. Now, I have a very long, wide stance. The reason I have that is because I want to make sure my trunk and everything is staying nice and upright. The what not to do is have a really narrow stance. Doing this, I'm not getting as much of a stretch in the hip flexor. My knee is coming really far forward. That can sometimes be uncomfortable on the knee, but it's also making you put a lot of your weight on this leg as opposed to focusing on this activation on this backside. So step farther away, nice and long lunge, activate the glute and press. Breathing, core is engaged, pressing through that heel. You're going to feel this start to stretch and release a little bit. Really important for those of us who sit a lot, you drive a lot. The other thing is a lot of people just need this reminder of glute activation. Our glutes can kind of go dormant. They sort of go to sleep throughout the day when we're inactive. So this is a great way to wake them up. Now, I did stay in that position for 30 seconds to a minute. You can start with 10 to 15 second intervals. I would love for you to work up to where you're activating that glute for a full 30 seconds. Doing the same thing on the other side, pushing that heel, activating the back side of that buttocks, those glute muscles. As it activates, my hip flexor is going to start stretching, it's releasing a bit. Focus on squeezing through the glutes, allowing your pelvis to sort of tuck under, chest stays upright, core stays tight. As you hold this, you will start to be able to shift forward a little bit more and a little bit more. That's where the stretching really works wonders. Good. Now, I didn't hold that one for quite as long of time. I would go back and repeat this same move again later today, maybe once or twice on both sides. It is great for that posture, helping those hip flexors release, engaging the glutes, telling them to wake up and do their job. And hopefully that range of motion, left you in a nice, strong, upright, comfortable posture. And your goal is to just work on that and try to maintain that throughout the day. Hope you enjoyed it. Keep up the good work.